2 years ago, I bought a house in Kentucky. For 2 years, I lived in relative peace, enjoying sweet, sweet silence. It's an older house, split into 2 levels with no basement and a tiny attic. Let me explain. You enter through the front door or the garage, and immediately step onto a small landing with a staircase going up and another going down. The house has 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, 2 living rooms, and a decently sized kitchen with a deck overlooking the surrounding land and a rather large backyard. I tried and failed at homesteading in that yard. It's a nice house, clean, in a nice neighborhood with low crime and tons of families flitting around until the sun goes down. I hosted small gatherings and felt comfortable well into the early hours of the morning, surrounded by night and its noises. In short, it never really bothered me to live alone in this house. In fact, I liked it. I'm extremely introverted and sincerely enjoyed the solitude. But lately, well, that's changed. I've changed, not at all for the better, only for the worse. In the past few months, like the tide slowly ebbing up a darkening beach, I felt the fear come. So small, I could ignore it at first, but it's grown so big I can hardly contain it now. I'm not crazy. I'm not. And before you say I'm just paranoid, let me tell you my story. Last Tuesday, at exactly 3:33 in the goddamn morning, I saw something. An apparition, an alien, a ghost, a demon, call it what you will. The fact of the matter is it was there. I saw it. And let me start at the beginning. It started off as little things, knocks in the night below me, deep and almost imperceptible, but they were there. 5 knocks, then silence, and then 5 more. It's not mechanical, not explainable. At first, I thought it was just a water heater, but when I had it replaced, the knocking continued. I tried to ignore it for the first few days, but it was incessant and raging. I spent hours down on the lower level of my house trying to find out where it was coming from, trying to stop it. I would go into the bedroom thinking it was coming from somewhere inside. I'd tilt my head to the left and listen, and there it would be, 5 knocks. Except they weren't in that bedroom, they were in another one. So I would walk over there, repeat, and find the noise wasn't coming from there at all, but outside in the living room. This went on and on until I began leaving my TV on at all times, volume turned up, trying to drown out that damn ticking, trying to pretend I couldn't hear it. And before you ask, yes, I did have people over. And yes, they heard it too. One of them even helped me search for hours, and we didn't find anything. And then things escalated. It was my cat. One night while I was trying to sleep, she went downstairs and wouldn't come back up. I woke up abruptly and heard it immediately. She was meowing and meowing. I knew those meows. They were the ones she used when she was hungry, but she would only ask for food in the presence of another human. It was strange. I got out of bed, crept to my door, peeking out of it before walking toward the staircase. I hesitated at the top, lights all on, wondering if I should go down by myself or if I should call someone. I sighed, steeled myself, and continued, turning on all the lights on my way downstairs. Even fully illuminated, the lower level of my house felt dark, empty, like it was some sort of portal to another world. It freaked me out. It sounded like she was in the smallest bedroom of my house, the one where the litter box was, the one where the window connected to my backyard, easily accessible from the ground. I arrived at the door, flipped on the light, and saw it. The window was wide open, and the screen was halfway popped out, like someone was trying to get in but stopped. She was up on the sill, quiet now, flicking her tail back and forth, eating something. More puzzled than afraid, I took a tentative step forward, then another and another, and shooed her away. There was something on the windowsill, a few dozen somethings in fact. It was a pile of cat food. Confused, I looked up at my window and into the shadowy yard. There he was, just outside the window, draped in shadows formed by night and stars and moonlight. A man hulking, looked like he was wearing thick black clothing from head to toe. His eyes glowed red and flashed green in the low light. He had the head of a bug, or at the very least, it looked like he was wearing some sort of mask that made him look like a bug. We stood there, staring at each other for almost a minute. My heart was palpitating, and I could barely breathe. A dozen thoughts raced through my mind. Was he the source of the ticking noise? Was he a monster, a ghost, a serial killer, an alien? Had he been scouting out my house to break into? Did he know that I lived alone? Was I about to die or get kidnapped? Why did he target me? Why would he feed my cat? Did he just poison it? Suddenly, his hand rose up to his head, to those big bulbous eyes. And then a flash, blinding, bright, and disorienting. I yelped and stumbled back, gasping for the breath to scream, and I did. I ran outside onto the street, bellowed, my throat bloody. Lights in the surrounding houses shot on, and my neighbors streamed into the street, some with guns, others with phones already dialing 911. The cops showed up not long after that, scoured the backyard, and checked out the window. They examined the cat food on the sill and assured me they would have it tested for poison. They told me Cheetah was fine and just to monitor her for the next few days, which I did. She was fine. The next day, I bought and installed several cameras. I bought perhaps too many deadbolts. Oh, and lights, lots of lights. Big lights, little lights, small lights, tall lights. Over the next few weeks, I descended into a kind of unavoidable paranoia. I lost my job, lost a fair few of my friends, and lost my equilibrium. I was losing everything, but above all, I was losing my mind. Then it happened. Days ago, I woke feverish and gasping in the night. My mouth cracked wide open in a silent scream. One thought shot to the forefront of my mind, and I sat up so suddenly that I scared myself. There is something in my house. But no, there couldn't be. I had checked everything shut, locked, and monitored 3 different times. There was no way anything could get in my house. Right? Right. There was nothing in my house. Nothing I hadn't heard before. And then, as if on cue, there was. Except now, the tick sounded mechanical, alien. I inhaled deeply and held it in. I exhaled. Cheetah, get the heck up here, you damn cat, please. I was almost in tears, only vaguely aware she was a cat and understood pretty much nothing of what I was saying. Damn it. I jumped out of bed, trying to let my anger mask my fear, but the closer I got to the stairs, the harder it became. Even with all the lights on all of them, I was terrified of going down there. But I did. It was Cheetah. I couldn't let anything happen to her. She was sitting in the dead center of the living room on the lowest level of my house, staring straight up like someone had their hands wrapped around her chin and was lifting it. My foot left the last stair, and I was fully down below in the belly of the house. I looked up at where she was looking and gasped. Something small and black was balled up high in the ceiling, sunken into it. It wasn't moving, and even though I couldn't tell what it was or where its eyes were, I knew it was there. The fear bubbled in the pit of my stomach, nearly crippling me. I could feel it watching me, surrounding me, darkening the air. This thing was bad, real bad. Cheetah jerked once, like she was released from something, and ran behind the couch, her tiny face peeking around the corner. I looked at her, then up, and took a step back toward the stairs, toward the safety and the light, but it was too late. I was too slow. The thing jumped or glitched or swam or flew straight onto me, into me, crying into my mouth, seeping into my eyes, drilling into my ears. You get the point. And I swallowed that darkness. I ate it right up. It sucked inside me, into the core of my being. Or at least, that's what it felt like. As I fell back, a single phrase blew into my mind like an explosion or the beam of a flashlight in an abandoned building. Sing-song and sickening. The moon sure is bright tonight. She's one hell of a sight. Killing is such a delight. I woke up the next day, my bed covered with Cheetah curled up on my belly. But she wasn't sleeping. She was staring directly at me, her tiny face impassive, like she was observing me closely. I pushed her off, and she meowed once, then slunk under my bed. I sat up, hanging my legs off the edge, and rubbed my face, thinking it was just a dream. It had to be a dream. Slowly, with the light of the sun, I went downstairs and looked up. A single black stain blighted the white ceiling. I blinked at it, trying to slow my heart with painful, illogical thoughts. Water. It's just water. Water that seeped into the floor from the kitchen sink. Yeah, it's nothing more, nothing less. There's no such thing as ghosts, no such things as aliens and boogeymen and weird dream premonitions. You're okay. It's okay, ... The stain was in the shape of a triangle. Or an eye, maybe a 5-pointed star, I couldn't tell. It just kept moving. But water moves, right? Stains shift too, right? I remember walking upstairs, checking my kitchen sink and dishwasher, and seeing that both were in perfect working order, dry and sealed. Trying not to panic and looking for something to do to distract my mind, I got paint from my garage and quickly painted over the stain, not caring if it made the spackle look weird, hoping it would just go away. I only wish. I still don't know what to make of it. I still don't know what to do. The stain seeped through the paint already, and I vomited blood this morning. I lost my health insurance with my job, so I'm hoping it's just related to stress and lack of sleep. I can't afford to visit the hospital right now, and I definitely can't afford to think that this was all related to that dream. I'm just afraid. I keep Cheetah close to me at all times if I can, but sometimes she gets away from me at night and traps downstairs. I can hear her meowing until she suddenly stops. Then there's silence, interrupted only by that noise. I refuse to go back down there. Cheetah be damned. I know. But she always comes back upstairs in the morning, unafraid and almost annoyed. One time, she hissed at me when I tried to stroke her head and hid under the nook between the table and the couch, only coming out after the sun went down. She immediately ran back downstairs. I was able to get to her the next day, surrounded by the sunlight, along with her litter box in bed. She's here with me now as I write this, just staring at me, but she seems okay. I'm far from it though. I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of everything I see, every shadow that passes my periphery, every noise in the night, the ones that are out of sight. Sure, you can say just sell the house. The thing is though, it's not that easy. I wish it was, but it's not. And I'm stuck here until, well, I don't know, until I lose my mind entirely or die, maybe. And here's the thing. There's part of me that wants to believe, but I'm afraid of what that means. Believing doesn't mean ghosts and ghouls and frights galore. It doesn't mean sinister, shadowy organizations conspiring, withholding knowledge that would advance us light years. And yes, I know that's a distance and not time, and that's what I mean. The knowledge would advance us far, far away, or does it mean both? That there are hidden worlds and hidden history, but equally unexplainable. And where does that leave me? What happened to me? Call me crazy. Tell me to grab my info, my sage, my holy books, and my codebreaker. But ask yourself this, in the darkest recesses of your deepest desires, don't you want to believe too?